big question almost every year with farmers is, should I prepay or should I not? Today we're going to talk a little about the advantages and disadvantages to prepaying your inputs.
All right, Brian, I'm going to start with the disadvantage side of this because, you know, when you spend your money and you give it to somebody else, they now have control. And what if a better deal comes up out there and I decide not to do it? Or what if I change crops? Or what if I can't get my crop in? This is a big fear for some guys. And many times they'll say, you know, I'm just going to hold on to that money tightly because I don't want to lose control of
Well,
things.
I get that, but you need to talk to your retailer first and ask him or her those same exact questions. What does happen if you have money left over? What does happen if you have to make product changes? And really, quite frankly, the biggest question that I'm worried about and the biggest disadvantage I see is what happens if the retailer goes bankrupt? How financially sound is that retailer? Because let's face it, when you prepay, you probably have zero collateral.
That is a scary thing. And you know, you think about it, do you want to take all that product? And certainly seed, you could take early. There's no issue at all with that, other than, you know, if you have a rodent infestation or something, but that can be pretty easily managed. When you look at some of the chemistry things, there are certainly products that can be allowed to be in cold temperatures and others that can't. So you could take a good chunk of what you're going to be prepaying for if you really want to have product on hand.
All right, let's go to the advantages of prepaying. The number one reason why a lot of farmers do this is because of the tax incentive that there is to do it. Now, if you're a non-farmer watching our show today, you say, what? How is it that farmers are the only ones that get to use cash accounting and literally all they have to do is prepay for more of their inputs and they can lower their tax bill immediately? So for example, if a farmer prepays $100,000 for seed, his net income goes down $100,000 this year and he pays less tax. That's not fair. Well, let's look at the flip side of this thing. Why does the government promote this? Well, number one, the farmer doesn't know exactly what's going to happen in terms of income each year. One year the farmer might make $200,000 and you say, oh, farmers are rich. But the next year the farmer might lose $150,000 and you say, uh-oh, the farmer's broke. Okay, so this is a way for the farmer to kind of income average. The other reason why the government encourages prepaying is the only way the farmer gets the tax break this year, and keep in mind, all he's doing is delaying his taxes. Eventually he's going to have to pay them. But in order to lower his tax bill this year, he has to put cash into the economy. The government wants cash into the economy. That's great to stimulate the entire economy. So there are absolutely reasons why the government loves seeing farmers prepay.
When you said the biggest reason farmers prepay, Brian, I was thinking about something else. And sure, there are tax ramifications of when you're spending your money for your crop inputs. But the thing I was thinking about is there are some tight supply products this year, whether it's some of the newer herbicides that are out there or some of the new pesticides that are out there, or seed. Wow, there were some seed issues in production this year with seed corn where there's going to be some numbers that are really in tight supply. I would be taking mine right now. I'm nervous about that. Also with soybean seed, for example, this year there are some areas with disease and extreme weather where production numbers were less than what companies were hoping for. So there are some areas where soybean seed may be even in tight supply, especially for some of the new numbers that are out there and some of the new traits that farmers are switching to. So for me, I'm looking at, I want to get certain products. The best way for me to do that is to take them early. The other thing is price. There are cheaper prices when you prepay and buy things early. Why? Because retailers want to get things locked up. They want to have that business, and they're often getting incentives from manufacturers and suppliers to prepay early as well, and they're passing it on to their farmer customers. So for me and for our farm, we like to prepay everything because we want to get the lowest price of the season. That's very important.
All right, so once again, there are certainly advantages, good advantages to prepaying. We talked about reducing taxes, at least in the short term, and certainly getting your seed locked up or your crop protection products so you have those, and price is a big deal. But on the flip side, look at the disadvantages. Make sure you're working with a retailer you can trust or take the product immediately. Once you have the product, okay, well now you're safe. The biggest risk then you have is, can you return it? Can you exchange it? Are you still going to get a good deal? All those types of things. So there are many things to consider when it comes to prepaying, but it is something we do on our farm, and we would encourage you to at least take a look at on your farm as well.
Well, some of the products you may be prepaying for could be used to control our weed of the week. We'll show you how to stop this tough weed later in the show.